What's up, YouTube? It's Reggie, and today we're on chapter 31 of Numbers. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying," and then the speaker note says, "The Midianites are Egematic people in biblical, historical, and archaeological research, according to Genesis chapter 25, verse 1 through 4. Midian was one of the sons of Abraham. Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. Afterwards shalt thou be gathering unto thy people. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, and avenge the Lord of Midian. Of every tribe 1,000 throughout all the tribes of Israel shall ye send to war. So they were delivered out of the thousands of Israel, 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moses sent them to war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Peresis and Phinehas the son of Eleazar the priest to the war, with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hands. And they warred against the Midianites, as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And they slew the kings of Midian. Besides the rest of them they were slain, namely Evi, Rekem, Zur, Hur, Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also the son of Beor they slew with the sword. And the children of Israel took all the women of the Midianites captive and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle, and all their flock, and all their goods. And they burnt all their cities wherein they dealt, and all their goodly cows with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and beasts, and they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camps at the plains of Moab, which are by the Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with officers of the host, with the captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, Have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these cause the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the plague of Meir. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women, children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. And do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whoever have killed any person, whoever shall have touched any slain, purify both yourself and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and purify your remnant, and all that is made of skin, all work of the goat's hair, all things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto the men of war which went into battle, This is the ordinance of the law, which the Lord commanded Moses. Only the gold and the silver and the brass, the iron, the tin, the lead, everything that may abide the fire, ye shall go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. And all that abideth not by the fire, ye shall make go through the water. And ye shall wash your clothes on the 7th day, and ye shall be clean. And afterwards ye shall come into the camp. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of man and of beast. Thou, Eleazar the priest and the chief fathers of the congregation, and divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them and who went out to the battle, and between all the congregation. And Levi a tribute unto the Lord of the men of war which went out of the battle, 1 soul of 500, both of the persons and the beeves, and of the asses and of the sheep. Take it of their ass and give it unto the priest Eleazar the priest, for a heave offering of the Lord. And the children of Israel thou shalt take 1 portion of 50 of the persons and of the beeves, of the asses, of the flocks, of all manner of beasts, and give them unto the Levites, which keep the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded. And the booty, being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught, was 600,000 and 7,000 and 5,000 sheep, and 312,000 beeves, and 301,000 asses, and 32,000 persons, and it's all women lying that had not known man been by lying with him. And the half which was in a portion of them that went out was in numbers 300,007 and 30,500 sheep, And the tribute of the Lord sheep was 615, and the beeves were 30 and 6,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 312. And the asses were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 31. And the persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 30,002 persons. And Moses gave the tribute, which was the Lord's heave offering, unto Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the children of Israel's half, which Moses divided from the men that warred, and 30,000 and 6,000 beeves, and 30,000 asses, and 500. Even of the children of Israel's half, Moses took one portion of 50, both of man and beast, and gave them unto the Levites, which kept the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the officers which were over the thousand of hosts, the captains of thousands, the captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses, and they said unto Moses, Thy servants have taken the charge of some of the men of war which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man among us. We therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, what every man have gotten of jewels, of gold, chains, and bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord. And Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, and even all wrath jewels, and all the gold of the offerings that were offered upon the Lord of the captains of thousands and the captains of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. And then the speaker notes say, through his concubine Keturah, Midianites were allied at times with the Moabs, and the Israelites, Amalekites, the Mennonites seem to have been a loosely connected confederation of nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes with origins in North Saudi Arabia, who traveled with the regions of Western Sinai Peninsula, Southern Jordan, and Arabia. Here 1,000 men from each tribe are mustered for a battle. Equal participation in conquest by the tribes parallels their equal contribution of God gifts for the tabernacle in chapter 7. The model for holy wars presented with the priest of Phinehas accompanied the 12,000 man army into battle. They carried with them sanctuary vessels for needed purification rituals and trumpets for sounding battle alerts. The 5 kings of Midian defeated in the campaign are listed in the same order in the battle summary. When they are called dukes of Shion. The natural the political relationships among them, Amorites, Moabs, Mennonites, remain nebulous. One of these Mennonite leaders, Zer, was the father of Kozibi, the Mennonite woman who was killed by Phinehas along with her Israelite lover Zimri bin Salu. The purpose of holy war was to eradicate impure elements, whether persons or property, from society. This battle followed on the heels of the idolatrous activity of Pau that began with unholy sexual relations and resulted in the death of thousands of Israelites. It also sets the stage for instructions for possessing the promised land by driving out the Canaanites and eradicating the source of adultery. These instructions for the distribution of spoils of war among the community members set the standard for coming campaigns in the promised land. The amount of gold offered by Israel's command exceeded the minimum required of 1/2 shekel per person by nearly threefold, with the armlets and bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklace totaling 6,750 shekels. The leaders gave sacrificially in the spirit of thanksgiving to God. For the men of war had taken spoil every man for himself, and Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds and brought it into the tabernacle of congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord. And that's how it ends. And I would say for me, I think that God really made me read this today just because of a lot of the stuff I've been going through. And I seen a video today that was talking about how if you truly have the Holy Spirit and if you truly love God, that you won't fall into the same temptations. And that kind of hit a little home for me because I feel like I'm not falling into new temptations. All the temptations that I battle with and all the stuff that I struggle with is stuff I've been battling with like my whole life, as far lustful thoughts, just having urges to look at certain things in the world and be like, oh, like where that's just bodies, um, like bodies of people, of women specifically. Like I don't have that, you know what I'm saying? But um, it's just like also for me is I don't know. I have a lot of flashbacks of like memories of people I messed with in the past, and it just like it's like the closer I get to God, the more they keep coming, and they become like more detailed. I remember more and more details, and it's like when I first wake up, sometimes it just hits me, and in that moment, it's just like dang, like they're all just hitting kind of live, and then I start like thinking about that, and when you start thinking about that, you start in a way you're like acting like it's good, like because obviously you don't want to have flashbacks about traumatic stuff, like or stuff that's bad. But me having those flashbacks, I feel like there's still a part of me that wants to see that to a certain extent, and I'm trying to break out of that. And what I gotta keep reminding myself is that living for the world, even if it's normalizing like that premarital sex or whatever it is, whatever like temptation is, whether that's cursing, all that stuff, is at the end of the day, when I participate in that, I'm siding with the devil. I'm siding with the worldly desires, and I have to think about it like, do I prefer that sin over God? And when I put it like that, it's a simple answer, and it should be no always. And sometimes you gotta own up to your thing and be like, well, yeah, I do at that moment, and you gotta deal with that because you gotta cast that out because we don't know when Jesus come back. But when he does, there's not gonna be a time afterwards to be like, oh well, I believe now. Like it's like no, because you never know. Like if you fall into that sin, right? Because everyone knows that Jesus died for our sins, but if you fall into that sin and he comes back and you're in that sin, he's not gonna look at you for like all the good you're gonna do. He's gonna be like, well, you're sinning right now. So when I think about that, it just like the fact of staying alert and fighting those demons. Like it never says that there's not going to be a lot of temptations. There's a lot of temptations in this world, and something that I've been doing personally is still surrounding myself with a lot, like putting myself in situations like where I'm experiencing a lot of temptation when I don't need to. Like still going to parties every now and then, kickbacks or whatever, and before I was like, oh well, it's just to chill with the homies. But at the end of the day, that's something that I don't need to participate in because I'm thinking about it. Do I want my like person to be going to party? Do I want them to be participating? No, no. So why would I go participate in that? It's very hypocritical. So that's something that I had to like I take from this is just because even in this, like the people that are being killed and stuff are people that were sexually immoral, meaning they're having just sex just to have sex, which a lot of times that's what we view sex as now because none of us are married, none of these are our partners. Um, and I just think back and I'm like, dang, like a lot of these stuff that people are getting like condemned for and dying for is stuff that I participate in. Not even every day, but it's just the fact that it's like you did it before, and now instead of God gave me a second chance as far as He's letting me change, and I'm thinking about all this past stuff and acting like it's cool when it's not. Like at the end of the day, if I will truly want to be a Christian, I gotta beat all that stuff, and owning up to that is definitely harder. I will say, and I'm having a going to this church retreat on the first, so that's like, I mean not the first, on the second to the fourth. So I really hope that that can help me a little bit more because I said I have good days. I have like weeks or months at a time where I don't be having those problems, but then when I have that problem, it feels like I reset. So I just got to get better at just not going back into those. Like every time I get tempted by the devil, because God doesn't tempt you, that's Satan because he controls the world. He has power too, and you're not strong enough to fight him by yourself. So you gotta just call on God and just ask for help. And that's something that I keep trying to do. I keep saying, hey, I gotta call on God. I gotta call. But then when I'm experiencing this, I'll try to fight it myself. And then when I lose, I'm surprised. And that's something that I got on up to. And like I said, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it and act like I'm perfect. Like I said, there's still a lot of stuff that I got to work on, and God is kind of working through me. As far as with these scriptures, it kind of reminds me, hey, don't just read it, you got to apply it, and I got to start applying that to my life. Um, I hope this helps you, and whatever you're battling with, I pray that you beat it and that you give it all to God, because that's something I got to start working on. Like I said, because even me trying to get closer to God, the closer I get to God, the more temptations that keep appearing, and I just gotta fight them. Stay blessed and keep fighting, brothers and sisters.